Today is finally the day where we will leave our 3x3 base hut and turn it into this. A massive castle that will not only be our new home, but also, you know, kind of protect us from the evil Lost King that rules this world. And yeah, that also fits the vibe of Lost Colony. So let's get right into building. We already have the foundation laid out, and it's not actually stone foundations, it's stone ceilings with pillars underneath and just walls around, kind of to mimic foundations because the ground isn't really even. And in the middle, that's the courtyard, and as you can see, I'm actually gonna leave some trees and some rubble around just to make it feel a bit more natural. And yeah, that is just the base foundation, and now we'll start to expand and build from there. Next up, we'll begin the first layer of walls, and this will be 5 walls high. We can basically just go around the entire foundation on both sides until we have that all settled. And after the first layer of 5 walls high, it will look something like this. Doesn't matter on what foundation we start. Yeah, and it doesn't need to have any entries as of right now. We'll, you know, set them later, but yeah. Now, let's do the exact same on the opposite side, 5 walls high for the first layer. And after that, we'll need a lot of ceilings that can go on top of that first layer of walls. So we basically have kind of a wall around the whole castle that we can walk on and yeah, have access to different buildings. Both layers of walls have been completed, and now we need those ceilings to cover all this up. Alright, the normal ceilings have been placed, as you can see there where the gate will be. I've also just connected the two together, the two foundations, and yeah, we'll obviously add some support underneath, but just for right now, that is it. And now we still have to fill out this side piece right here, basically, but this time obviously with some triangle ceilings. Alright, I went ahead, got some walls, quarter walls, and also sloped walls. Now what we want to do is place a normal wall right there, grab a sloped wall, and go to the second variant, the shallow sloped stone wall, and put that on both sides. It's a bit hard with the Archie flying around, but otherwise I can't get all the way up there. Then we'll take the quarter walls, put a line of them like so. Oops. And then we'll take another shallow sloped wall and place it right there, just like that. And we do that obviously on both sides. And yeah, this just gives it a bit more of a robust feel, if you know what I mean. Otherwise, it's just that one thin ceiling structure up there. And yeah, that obviously looks a lot better with those sloped walls. And there we go, just like that. Now up here, we obviously have this hollow space. And to fill that up, we'll need 8 roofs or ramps. You know, it's all the same. Then go to the ramps variant. There we go. And place them just like that. There we go. Now that is filled out as well. Next up, I'm going to start with one of the towers all the way on the back left. And for that, we'll need to place 6 walls on top of each other, on top of that already 5 wall high first layer. And we'll do that for the 3x3 foundations, or ceilings in that case, that we have in the corner. And that will form one of our 3 main towers. So now we just have this bare bone tower, or just structure. It's not even a tower, don't worry. Details will obviously be added. And now we need to take 3 walls back, those 3 here, after 2 walls high, right from the bottom here. And obviously here where our kind of wall is, we'll leave a 2x2 open for the moment. We'll obviously refine that as well, but then take the 3 walls from the middle as well. And yeah, now we'll do that on all 3 3x3 ceiling corners. Alright, the 3 towers are done. Well, you know, just the normal structural part is done. And they kind of look like an old ruin, but we're gonna fix that now. We're gonna take some quarter walls and put them in those 2x2s, just like that. And then we'll take another piece of shallow sloped stone walls. And there we go, kind of create that mini arch. Kind of, and that will basically be our entrance to the towers. And then on top of that, we'll also put some quarter walls right at the bottom of that 3x1 piece that we basically took out from the walls, each in the middle. That will basically just be a giant window, you know. And then yeah, we can continue with all the entryways in the same fashion so that they all look the same. And after our tower entrances have been completed, we can actually continue with the shallow sloped wall and just put 2 on each of these like big open windows that we have in the middle of the towers. And yeah, create that same kind of arch effect or arch structure, I guess, just so it looks a bit nicer. And look at that. Let's take a quick building break to appreciate the view we have here. Very beautiful, especially now in like a snowstorm. Just looks really cool, I feel like. But yeah, back to building. All right, and up next, once those windows are done, we'll take 9 ceilings for each tower and just build them right on top of those 2 quarter walls that we've placed. And yeah, I believe I'll just use a hatch frame like that in one of those ceilings right here and put a ladder up, because I know stairs are more convenient, but ladders just take up less space. And yeah, maybe I'm not sure yet. But yeah, then we can just fly up here manually and put some railings down right on top of those 2 quarter walls that we've just used kind of as a reference to put that ceiling down. And yeah, we'll do that for all 3 towers once again. So this is how it looks like right now, and it's slowly but surely taking shape. Now next up we'll build the top part of each tower. And for that, we actually need some pillars right on the edge here, or on the corners, basically. And let me just place one down in each corner like that. I've actually misplaced that one. There we go. And now we'll take some normal ceilings and snap them so they're in the middle of the pillar, just like that. And then, yeah, we can connect those completely. And then once again, just leave somewhere open for a hatch frame. And now I'm gonna grab the pillars again, and I'll place a fully sized pillar on each corner here that also has a pillar beneath it. Then I'm gonna take a half pillar and place them between those full-sized pillars, like so, right there beneath the archie as well. And we still have some quarter walls over or left over, and we're gonna use those as railings, yeah, in between the pillars we have just placed. And then we're also going to need some thin half pillars, and we're going to clip those on the corner, like right on the edge, on both the top and bottom. Because later on we'll put some ceiling lights from the Wasteland structure skin set, and you know, let them hang right beneath those. Then to round this off a bit, we're going to take a roof and then choose the quarter roof variation. And basically just snap them right beneath the ceilings here. It's a bit tricky to get the snap point sometimes. There we go, just like that. We'll do that on the entire length. And just before the last one, we're gonna take a triangle roof. And as you can see, I've built one too far, so let's take one away. Equip that roof corner. And there you go, as you can see. That will then cleanly round off the corner, just like that. And yeah, we'll do that on every side and on each corner, and then it just looks a bit more shaped and supported. And that is how basically the top floor of the tower looks, just with all stone structures, of course, before we apply the skins. And now that we have done that, we can actually go back to the pillars and, you know, drag those pillars all the way down, because otherwise that would look a bit funny to just have them on the top and not follow all the way down to the bottom floor. So yes, we'll pull them all the way down, and it's gonna need a lot of pillars, a lot of resources, but yeah, it's gonna look good in the end, so I guess it's worth it. Alright, with all that done, it looks kind of like this as of right now. And we still have some pillars left, so let's actually go ahead and use those right here at the entrances as well. And for that, we kind of have 2 possible options. So we can either go double big pillars, but you know, place them like that so they kind of stick together a bit. Or we could place a half pillar up top. And now if we put on the Lost Colony structure skin, it would look like this. So the right side is with the 2 pillars kind of like inside each other. And the left here is with the half pillar up top and the full pillar at the bottom. I do kind of like the left a bit more. It's a bit less chaotic. But let me also try this in the different way. So let's try the half pillar at the bottom, and then on top of that we'll put the full pillar, and let's see how that looks. Yeah, I like that more for sure. So let me actually switch those back and put the half pillar on the bottom here as well. There we go. And we'll do that for each entrance now as well. All right, we're not done with the tower yet. Next up is kind of like a decorative kind of detail. So we'll place one ceiling each on every corner right beneath the two quarter walls right there. So that would be right here and right here. And we'll obviously clean this up in here as well so it looks good. And we'll do that for every tower on each corner. There we go. Then we'll go once again with a thin half pillar and place them just like before there on the edge. But here we'll place it in all three corners that are visible. So on those three corners, in here of course not, because it's not even visible from the outside, and we'll cover it up inside. But yeah, out here on all three corners. And then here it's basically the same. We'll put a ceiling lamp right here where that bottom thin pillar is snapped right now. Yeah, just for some, you know, more lighting. With that done, it will look like this. And yeah, as I mentioned, we'll hang a ceiling light from the corner one, but not from the other ones. That would be a bit too much. But I also felt like leaving the other ones out, like not placing them, kind of feels like there's missing something. So yeah, that's how we'll leave it for right now. Now, what we need once again are those roof corners, and we'll place them obviously that it makes a nice closed corner basically. And then we obviously also need some sloped walls so we can cover this bit right here. And this is basically just covering up this corner here, and inside right here we'll place down some quarter walls just like this. So the corners are basically thick pillars. So yeah, this here won't be visible anymore once we're done. Yeah, it's a small detail, and it, you know, you can make the point it's a waste of resources, but yeah, it's worth it in my opinion. It looks good in the end, so let's just go with it. And as I mentioned, to clean this whole thing up in here, we'll just use some quarter walls like that, and then to place them right here, we actually need another snap point. So we just take a quarter ceiling, and then there we go, we have it. So yeah, basically kind of like a thick pillar here in the corner, and that will only be visible on this level, you know. Once we climb up the ladder here, oh, fell down again, there we go. It's not visible anymore up here, and obviously it doesn't need to be. And as you can see, we have those kind of sharp corners coming in up there as well. But I feel like this is a much more open space, and it's not really distracting compared to down here. As you can see, it's like very far down, right beneath your survivor's head. And also when you walk in here, it's like right here on your left face. So I feel like having this small cover up is worth it, in my opinion. All right, that is the tower structure completed, obviously without applying the structure skins yet. I'll do that at the end. And also, of course, without the lamps. We need some more resources for that first before we can craft those. But for right now, I have some dino gates in my inventory, and I would like to pick up some of those walls, especially those 6 right here, and this kind of outwards foundation, and then place a dino gate right there. Then I'm gonna turn around, also pick up 6 walls right here in the center of this big, well, it's basically just a block as of right now. And then place another dino gate right here. There we go. And last but not least, I would like to place down a dino gate here in front of the first or most up front tower, I guess. Yeah, the ceiling. Now I just needed to check the ceiling is up there, so I will need to grab those right there. Just like that. There we go. Then we have some stairs here that we're gonna place in front of those, because obviously the ceiling I've placed is a bit higher, since, you know, as you can see, it's not a very flat spot here, right? It's going down a bit this way, but that's totally fine. There we go. And now we also have some railings and some sloped stone walls in between, like the stairs and the foundation. You know, that way it makes the stairs a bit more full and solid, a bit more sturdy, if you know what I mean. And yeah, we'll obviously place some gates right in there as well. But for right now, let's start with this big block that is still here and not used yet. But that is exactly why I already picked up some walls, because we're going to need a lot of walls now. So we can actually start by building the entryway, just like with the towers. So 4 quarter walls on each side, and then 2 shallow sloped walls. Then we can repeat that on the other side as well. And those will be our, well, entryways and also exits. Now for the front right corner here, we'll actually take away the ceiling and then use triangle ceilings and go outside of the walls just like that and do a full circle like so. And this will basically be like a small, a very thin tower, but that is higher than the bigger main towers. So then let's quickly grab 4 walls and place them on the bottom of the just placed triangle ceilings, just like that. And then we also have some triangle roof corners in here that we're going to use now to, yeah, basically close this up. And then, yeah, we basically have this small tower that is kind of integrated, if you know what I mean, right into this, yeah, I'd say this is the biggest building basically within our castle. Then the walls here will be 3 walls high, and here in the middle we can go 1 more up, since there will obviously be a sloped roof up here. And then when we get to the tower here, to the circular tower, we can just continue right away with the walls like so. And then here we'll have a small overlap, but it's not that big a deal in my opinion. We'll just cover it up a bit as good as possible with some pillars. Yeah, I'll show that in a second. So this is the problem that I've mentioned. As you can see, if I just put a quarter wall here, we'll have quite a big gap, I'd say, between the tower wall and our normal building wall. And yeah, that is why I'll just grab a normal wall. But as you can see, there is quite an overlap. But yeah, I'll just put a pillar right on this side here, and it will kind of minimize it a bit. And yeah. All right, this right here is the final tower height, or the small tower, that is. And yes, you can see it will be just 1 wall higher than the 3 main towers. And yeah, a bit higher than the roof of this box that we're doing right now. Now we do have some pillars in our inventory, and we're gonna go for some half pillars at the bottom, well, you know, at the top of the tower, but at the bottom here. Then switch to some half thin pillars, place them on top of that. Then switch back to the half pillar and place it like that. There you go. Then we have some roof pieces, just like that. That makes this like covering dome, I guess. And then we can also grab some quarter walls that will turn into railings, and we'll obviously place them right here. I can't really see with our RG in the way. There we go. But also up here, we'll flip them around. There we go. Just like that. Perfect. Next up, we'll start to place down the roof, and then also place down some quarter roofs on the edges, you know, so that basically it overlaps a quarter over the walls, because right now, you know, it's all covered, but yeah, it doesn't really look that great. So if we just put a quarter roof like so, there we go, just gives it a bit more depth, and we'll do that for the bottom here as well. And yeah, it kind of sucks that these quarter roofs are just a variation of the normal roof, and therefore cost the exact same amount of resources, even though they're just a quarter of the entire roof. That's kind of a negative point that I feel like could be improved with those pieces. Of course, it, you know, leaves less clutter in the inventory when you're crafting stuff. But yeah, regarding the resources, maybe not even worth it, you know, to do this. But I like the look of it, so I'll just go with it. Yeah, it's a bit of a waste of resources, I guess. But we can't change it, so let's just live with it. And yeah, that is how I guess the biggest room looks like, with that integrated tower, kind of. And as you can see, it's like mostly wall here, you know, not a lot of details there. So right here, I've actually left quite a big 3x2 hole. And we're now going to use some triangle ceilings, just like that, to basically create a small balcony. So we'll fill up the outside basically of this hole with some quarter walls. Then we'll put down some shallow sloped walls. Then we can use some quarter ramps, place them up here, just kind of like a small ceiling. And then we also have some railings here that we can obviously put down right here so we don't fall down. Safety goes first, right? Then we can grab some thin pillars, place them on the edge or corner of those quarter ramps. Then grab some triangle roofs and basically do the same like with the small tower and just give this kind of like a structural support base right here, just like that. And then yeah, that is the balcony done. So I've copied this balcony design and we now have one looking into the courtyard, one right down here looking kind of into the forest basically, and also one here on the front and on the other side right next to it as well. What I actually totally forgot about is placing down some of those roof corners. Oh, I fell down. That hurts. Okay, let me get back up there. All right, let's try that again. Yeah, placing down those roof corners right here. So then there's kind of like this windowy thing, you know, integrated into the roof. And we'll repeat that on the other side as well. But on this side here twice, since we have a bit more roof, you know, without the tower there. Yeah, that just gives it a bit of extra detail, I feel like. And yeah, I really do like this, you know, corner design for the ceiling. There we go. And in the end, it looks like that. We will obviously put some sloped walls in there, you know, so it's not just open. But yeah, just gives it a bit more detail, I feel like. So after some more time, we are basically finished with just the structure of the castle. So you can see I added another balcony right up front there. And yeah, just also added the pillar and the railing work all around the wall itself. As you can see here, there's always a big pillar and then two small pillars or half pillars, I guess, in between. And yeah, I also added in the gates to the gateways, obviously. And then also added some pillars here down through the big entrance area with some shallow sloped walls. Yeah, that is how the castle looks right now, just out of stone. We'll obviously change that all to the Lost Colony structure skins. But before we do that, in the last episode I mentioned electronics, I believe. And there was one comment that really helped me out and told me I could just go to the city and with the Dodig harvest some city lampposts, you know, and that way get quite a good amount of electronics. And I totally forgot about that. That's how it was in Extinction as well, right? You could just go around with the Dodig, collect tons of resources like that with the city tables. So thanks a lot for that comment. I'm gonna go do that right now because we need some electronics to get some lights into that base, because I feel like the Lost Colony structure skins are very cool. They look very cool, but they make the base like inside very, very dark. So that's why we want to go get some lights to kind of counter that a bit. All right, we're not in the city, but we're here on the bridge. And as you can see, there are tons of lampposts right here, just across the bridge. And there we go. That is the third lamppost. Let's just quickly check how much we've gathered. Oh my, wait, is that normal? Oh my God, I had no idea. I had no idea that was like that many resources. That is 3 lampposts. Is that bugged right now maybe? Or is that completely normal? Because that is insane. I had no idea. Yeah, that's great. We have the electronics sorted out. We can go back to base and craft up some lights. So, and the lamps I was talking about are the wasteland. There we go, the ceiling lights. It's not Lost Colony, but I feel like it fits the vibe very well, actually. The Lost Colony ceiling lights, they look great as well, but they have a much larger base, you know, right here where it's connected to the ceiling. So it wouldn't really work here with the small pillars, which is why I'm going with the wasteland ceiling lights, as I mentioned, on each of those small pillars down here and also up there. And yeah, then we'll have some better lighting already. And then I will actually first put on the Lost Colony skins everywhere and then see how dark it really is, where we need some more light, etc. Yeah, so let me quickly get this done with and then we'll be back. Alright, we are back and all the structures have been put into place, and this is how it looks now. So all the Lost Colony structures on every single part. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. I do really like it, and yeah. Now we're just gonna move all our stuff from our current 3x3 base that you can see down there in the bottom right onto this castle. It'll be a big upgrade. And yeah, then just, you know, from time to time, I'm sure we'll come across some dark corners that we'll have to light up with some lights and lamps, but that's totally fine. And now, yeah, we have a base we can call home, and that can protect us from the evil Lost King that we will defeat someday. And I'm very much looking forward to doing something else in building now, because that took a while. So, thanks a lot for being here. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you again in the next one as well. Have a nice day.